Hey everybody! Welcome to my tutorial on how to use leaderboards and how to use persistent stats in your game. I'll be going over, first of all, how to use the leaderboard chips to set stats and to get stats, along with the different caveats that you have with using these types of circuitry. So let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that you need to do is go to your watch, open up your backpack, and take out your maker pen. Once you have your maker pen, go ahead and open the palette, go to your props, dynamic, on the second page, and there will be a leaderboard projector. The leaderboard projector is what you can do to display the stats that you're going to save. You can control up to 3 different stats, stat 1, 2, and 3. On your maker pen, you can configure it and change the name and the visibility of the stat on the leaderboard. The full name will go at the top of the leaderboard. The shortened name will go on the stat display on the bottom, and will also go to the right of the leaderboard there. I can also choose to show either integers or time for the leaderboard, and if it should be shown or not, in ascending order. Alright. Once you've set up your leaderboard, you can pull out your gadgets in your maker pen. It'll be under the other chips, and we have the Get Leaderboard Stat chip and the Set Leaderboard Stat chip. We're going to go ahead and start with the Get Leaderboard Stat chip. This chip has 2 pins here, player ID for the first pin, and stat channel for the second pin. The output pins are player ID, stat channel, and value. The configuration has grabbable, is climbable, supports wall run, or hide during games. You usually don't need to configure these. Alright, when you put a player ID into this Get Leaderboard Stat chip, it will pull the relevant stat channel and give you the player ID, the stat channel, and the value. The reason why you have the player ID and the stat channel on the output side of this chip is because there can be delays when you put in a player ID on this side. So do not put a player ID and expect the output to give you the value instantaneously. Sometimes it does not work that way. The next chip that we have is the Set Leaderboard Stat chip. We have the player ID to start with, the stat channel, and the value. Under the configuration, you can set the behavior to always, to increment, set if greater, or set if less. When you set always, no matter what the value that you have going into this, it will always try to set that value. If it's a 0, if it's a 1, a -1, doesn't matter. Increment will always increase or decrease the value, but it will not reset it if it has a value of 0. Set if greater and set if less should be pretty obvious. I'm going to leave this on set always. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pull out a button. The button should be under dynamic, and I'm going to wire this to the Get Leaderboard Stat chip under the player ID. I'm going to also freeze this in place in the sky. Okay. Now that I have the Get Leaderboard Stat chip, I need to specify what channel that I need to pull from. So that's channel 1, 2, or 3. There are only 3 stats to check, so even if you put 4, 5, 6, or 7, there's no stats that will be pulled. I'm going to go ahead and spawn in a combinator chip, which is under your gadgets. Once I send the value from this Get Leaderboard Stat chip into the combinator, I want to also increase it by the number 1. I'm then going to send this value to the set leaderboard stat chip. And I'm going to also send the player ID from the get leaderboard stat chip to the set leaderboard stat chip, like so. Lastly, I'm going to change the stat channel on the set leaderboard stat chip, so it's the same stat channel here, stat number 1. To show you what's going on here, I'm going to go ahead and spawn an output chip. The output chip is going to show the signal that comes into the value here. So we can see what's going on when I press the button. Alright, so now that we wired it up together, when you press the button, it's going to send my player ID over to the get leaderboard stat chip, which is then going to pull the value into the combinator, increase it by 1, and replace the value that's in here with what this combinator had. When I press the value, initially there was a 0, so that gets sent through, a 1 gets added, and it gets to the set leaderboard stat chip. If I press it again, the number 1 gets sent through, and so on. You can use this to set leaderboard scores, you can do stats, incremental values, whatever you want to do for your games. The important thing to remember is that these stats stay in the game, even though you've left the instance. So even if I leave this instance and do not save it, when I come back and I press this button, it will load my leaderboard value and increase it by whatever amount that I choose to have. One thing to note as well, you'll notice that the leaderboard did not update at all. The leaderboard does not update until you leave the instance and then come back to it, just like other Rec Room Original leaderboards. Okay, here's some important things to know about the stat leaderboard chip. The first thing is that it's limited to every 30 seconds. If you send values to the set leaderboard stat chip, it will not send that to the leaderboard itself and the servers until 30 seconds have passed. If your players leave the room before that value sends over to the servers, they may lose their data. Another important thing to remember is that the get leaderboard stat chip is delayed. Do not expect this to be sent immediately, and work around the circuits accordingly. Use the output pins for the player ID and the stat channel, so that way it is always consistent for your games. Hopefully that helps you guys. Good luck in building your games, and have fun with persistent stats. Let me just put a little gadget point light there. Alright, there we go. Hello! Alright, okay, for realsies. Okay, hi! How do I... Big think. I have stonks. Alright, okay, so... Hey everybody,